City boy. Shit.
What's up, Casey? I'm Lady Leo. My co-host ain't here, but I got another beautiful co-host here. What's your name?
My name is Kailey.
Yeah, welcome, Kailey. Thank you for
you.
sitting up. We are at Smoky Face Smoke Shop, 4250 Truce. Come down and mess with us. We back, so come on. It's Sunday Fun Day, right?
Yes, Sunday Fun Day. We're here for it.
We're here for it. I want to thank the audience. Thank FiveOne Vision, Smoky Face, everybody out there. So, Kailey, this is the part where I give my spiel on the week, on how it happened. So, we had the 4th.
Yeah.
How was your 4th?
The 4th was great. I spent it with you and your family. It was so fun.
I must be fun.
Yeah, super fun.
So, the 4th was good. Yeah. My 4th is good. We were together. Holiday was cool. Now that that's over, you know, kids are out of school, summertime and everything. So, I hope your kids are in, you know, activities, keeping them busy and not destructive, and be productive. So, Kailey, give me a little bit of your background. But today, before you start, I'm sorry, we're going to talk about relationship, mental health, and on those lines, relationship, mental health, they may go together or may not. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
So, Kailey, give us a little bit of your background.
All right, so I'm from Warrensburg. If you don't know where that is, University of Central Missouri. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in human development and family science a year ago. So it would be May from last year, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And a minor in psychology, and now I'm in graduate school for marriage and family therapy, and I'm a year in, so I'm in my second year. I'm starting clinical practice now. I have clients, and so that's super exciting. It's like a new phase.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we dabble in a little bit of self-love. My man. Now, my man didn't fall over.
Oh, I fall down over there.
Can't have him falling down. So you dabble in mental health a little bit,
yes.
and so relationships. So what is your preference that you would like to help in the areas where you think that you're most helpful in?
Right. Okay. So it's called marriage and family therapy as like an umbrella term, but I really do individual, couple, family, child therapy. I can work with any type of people with my degree and with my license later on. So I'll be able to work with any kind of people, but what a lot of therapists do is pick a specialization. So it'll be just an area that interests them that they want to go into, and that's how you get clients to be like, this is my area, I have training in this area, and so I can work with this population of people.
Okay.
And so for me, I really want to work with couples, diverse couples, all kinds of people. That's really what I want to do.
Interesting. Great. So, in relationship-wise, as far as like checking out to see, you know, what love is, how to keep a good relationship, as far as, you know, like marriage and things like that, or even just on the lines of dating. So, I mean, what advice would you give the new people out there that started dating or just now getting back out there from divorce, maybe thinking about marriage again? What advice or what could you guide them, or how would you guide them to and different outlook in what their mindset was before they got into a relationship?
Wow, that's a good question. And honestly, I think that every person is different.
Okay.
You know, so like people think differently, behave differently, and do different things in their relationships. So it would be very much like focusing on what this client is dealing with. So like, what was their past relationship like, and what can I see in their system that makes sense to me to like help them in that way, if that makes any type of sense.
Okay.
Like therapists are taught to think systemically, so we don't just look at the individual with the problem, we look at like their whole system. So like, what was their childhood like growing up? Like, what kind of school environment did they have growing up? What is their family like? What are those relationships like? We take a look at all of those things.
Okay.
Yeah. So it really is like individual based in that area. But I would say there are like things that you can look at with most relationships that are going to be like, this will help you like to move forward. Like obviously communication is one of the biggest. The biggest.
I always say that.
Yes. Yeah.
Communication goes a long way.
Yeah. Healthy communication it seems like simple, but it's really not. Like when you get into the dynamics of like different relationships and things, like people have different ways of communicating with each other. So,
right.
Sometimes people are a little more critical or, content.
Judgmental in a relationship?
Yeah.
Who would have thought it?
So, especially like with couple therapy, we kind of like, the therapist joins with both people in that scenario to like make sure they both feel comfortable in, like sharing their side of like whatever's going on. But
so you never take sides, right?
we're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
No, we can't take sides.
Because you hear stories, and one is the reason why their marriage failed or relationship failed because the therapist wasn't on their side.
Right. And it's very common to have couples come in and one is pointing the finger. They're like it's this one, like they're causing the problems. But we know as therapists it takes two to tango.
Okay.
Like
right. I hear that now.
Both people contribute to the cycle that they have going on.
Okay. So let me ask you a question, and the audience out there may want to chime in or not. So when you begin a relationship or been in a new relationship or even marriage relationship, do you bring other entities in your relationship, like other people in what you're going through?
Like, are you saying like if there's a problem?
If there's a problem, or your significant other thinks it's a problem, but you don't think it's a problem, but they bring somebody else into you guys' situation, how would that person need to handle it? That's been the relationship is coming to them like, wow, you bringing stuff into our relationship.
Yeah. So that specific scenario is actually called triangulation. So that's whenever there's a problem between two people and one of the people decides to like go and bring a third party into the equation.
So they actually got words for this?
They do. And that is considered unhealthy to add people into the mix. I think it is the healthiest thing to keep relational issues between the two people. Of course, you're always going to have people in your life that you kind of lean on, like if times are tough, but to bring them in or to bring their opinions in, like that's not going to be helpful.
No, not at all. Okay. So past relationships, bringing into the new relationship, how would you address that if a couple was, came to see you? How would you address that?
I mean, I think I would see what is driving them to search for another, like, do they feel like they're not getting security from their partner or reassurance from their partner, or like it's just not getting resolved, so they feel like they need to bring in another opinion? I would kind of, dig around to see if it's something within the relationship that they're not feeling stable with, so they feel the need to bring somebody else into it or something like that.
So the comparison with an ex relationship, how does that work though? Because when you get into a relationship, somebody might bring that thought process with them, and that's keeping them from being happy with that person that they're venturing with.
Yeah, that's very, very common to have past relationship trauma and to feel like those things are still showing up in your relationship. That's super common. I think it's a matter of healing from your past relationships and seeing like what aspects of that have I not recovered from? Like what about that do I still need to heal from, work on? Because some things are traumatic that you experience in relationships, and even if you don't recognize it in the moment, it's like when you're having a similar issue and you're like, oh, I'm acting a way I don't want to act, so you have to like reevaluate and be like, is this coming from somewhere else, or is this the matter at hand?
So at this point, let's see if any of the audience member would like to chime in on our relationships, and maybe you can help them out in moving forward, getting past something, or anything like that. From me personally, you don't I feel like you don't bring old stuff into a new relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you leave it where it is because obviously that's where it belongs.
Yeah.
In the past. So if another person, say you have an argument and they still bringing up old stuff, they're not past it. So how can that person that they keep bringing it up on help them get past or move forward without bringing it into the present?
I mean, like I said, I think it is a matter of like being aware of these patterns that you're having in the relationship and being like, this isn't the way I want to behave, and like it's a self-awareness to be like, this isn't good, and I need to reflect and look back at like what I can heal myself and move on from. If that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay.
So let's take an audience member. Yes.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
This question is for Kailey.
Okay.
And maybe I wasn't listening all the way, but what does it mean if you start a new relationship, but your significant other is always bringing up stories about the ex or the ex this and the ex that? Like, what does that mean? Like, how would the person who's in a relationship with them handle that situation?
That's a good question. Yeah, that is a really good question. Honestly, that's kind of tough. Like, that's tough for both people, you know? Like, both people probably want to be together, but it seems like if the person is still stuck on things that their ex was doing, I think it is a matter of being like, am I over it or am I not, you know? Like, do I need to process that relationship more? Do I need to be alone more? Because I think there's a period of time after a relationship that people just need to like be with themselves, to reflect on the relationship, to be like, what did I like from that relationship? What worked for me in that relationship? What do I want to change for my next relationship? Really get real with yourself and be like, this is my standards, these are my values, like this is what I'm looking for in my relationship, and then move forward with another partner.
So what would the party who just got into it, like what should they do? Just kind of just step back and let that person find themselves, or
honestly
try to deal with the situation?
That's a good question too. I think it really is a matter of like personal opinion, you know, like whatever feels good for you, and if you really care about the person and you want to make it work, like I would suggest be open with them and be like, hey, you're doing this a lot, like you're bringing this up a lot and it's not making me feel good or like safe in this relationship. So if you can't move forward from it, then I might have to take a step back from you. But if you can, then we can progress. But I just don't know how we can progress if this keeps coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you for that. Those two questions.
Yeah.
That was pretty good questions.
Yeah, those were great questions.
All right, we have someone else who wants to ask the question. Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
This question is for Kailey. Hey, listen, so what if you in a relationship and you asking the person, you know, y'all conflict is coming in where, you know, you don't know where she at or she don't know where you at all the time, and you just asking that question, like, you know, what did you do today? Where was you at? You know what I'm saying? And they like, I'm grown. I ain't gonna tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of person, like...
Wait a minute now.
Because see, I was in a relationship like that and I took myself out of that.
Right.
But I was told I was wrong. Like, I didn't understand her. How can I not understand if she won't answer my questions? She didn't communicate.
Right. First of all, I don't think you're wrong in any capacity for feeling the way that you felt. Like, I think it's totally valid to want to check in with your partner. That's normal. Like, that is absolutely normal to want to know how their day went, to want to know, like, what they're up to. That's totally normal. So I don't know why anybody would make you feel like it wasn't, but...
Oh, you know why? 'Cause they, you know...
No, we don't know why.
Because they want to do what they want to do.
They out there highfalutin.
Yeah, they want to do what they want to do. But
No, but that's not necessarily always the case. Maybe they felt like that you already kind of knew, and they're like, why are you drilling them or asking them 21 questions?
Listen, most of the time, if we know we ain't, us as men, we ain't gonna ask because we already know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because y'all gonna lie.
Ooh,
Women lie.
wow, God. I don't know.
All right, my bad. They do work both ways.
Let me sit up on
You lie.
Let me.
Men like, but you got people that lie for no reason.
Okay.
If I asked you about what you was doing today, obviously I know you was on some bullshit, right?
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
So why it couldn't be maybe a surprise? Why it couldn't be maybe I just don't want to fucking feel like telling you right then?
Because all the time when I just let it go and this, that, the other, it didn't never turn out to be no surprise or no extra BS like what you trying to run. You know what I'm saying?
I also have something to add to that too.
Okay.
I think people have different
We do.
communication needs or wants.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I just think
Come on, our audience. It's
all good. We in this bitch.
Okay, so we in this bitch, and it's Sunday Fun Day. But I thank you for that, audience member. We're gonna address your question. We're gonna have her finish your thought.
Right. So I was just saying that some people in relationships have different needs and wants, like in terms of communication. So some people are down to text throughout the day and that works for them. And some people just want to text a few times throughout the day because they're busy and that's what works for them. One call a day, that works for them. Some people are different, you know? So I think that's something to take into consideration if you're texting all the time and then asking whereabouts all the time. I don't know. It tosses it up.
Before you move in with that person.
Oh, you didn't say move in now. Now you adding
Yeah,
extra.
that adds a whole nother element.
That's a whole other dynamic of the discussion now. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
We got one more audience member who'd like to ask you a question.
Got it. Yep.
Hi, Kailey.
Hi.
The question I have is,
Cheers.
oh Lord,
What was your question, ma'am?
my question is relationships, of course.
Uh-huh.
When you're dealing with relationship, do you sometimes be in a session with a couple and you notice other red flags from that couple? In other words, mental flags. Do you change the dynamics of the conversation so you can find out what's going on mentally with that particular person? Or you just make notes and address it the next time?
That's a really, really good question.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest, I have no experience with couples yet working directly with them.
Okay.
But I have learned a lot in class just about couple therapy. So I feel like I can answer this question because most times therapists working with couples, they're very focused on the couple dynamic.
Okay.
If you're working with an individual, that's kind of where you go more back into their history and their life and how different elements of their life are contributing. But in a relationship, I was going to touch on this later too, just the most common cycle that we see with couples is a pursue-withdraw dynamic. So one person in the relationship will be pursuing really hard and kind of just more anxious, and then the withdrawer will be more avoidant and more dismissive, kind of the more you push me, the more I'm gonna pull back.
Okay.
So we kind of look for that. Initially, we have a whole different thing that we do with intake, just getting to know them, getting to know how their relationship looks in real life. We try to get to know them both well before we start therapy, but in that type of dynamic, we would just look at how have them look at how their place in the cycle is contributing to the maintenance of it. Because I was just telling her before we came on here that both people in the relationship are wrong. Like if there's a problem, they're both contributing to it in some way. Like
Okay.
many times, one person will come into therapy, they're probably the one that initiated therapy and everything, and they'll be like, it's him or her. Like they're the problem. I can't do anything because of this person. But we as therapists, we don't look at it like that. Like you're in this relationship, so you're just you're contributing. Yeah.
Some way.
In some way,
Yeah.
some form, even if we do, we're human. We have our own opinions about things, so we can feel like one person is, like contributing more maybe to the maintenance of a problem than the other, but we just try to get them to look at how their behavior is negatively impacting the relationship. Like it's not about blaming anybody, but just making them aware of what's going on and like what's underneath it. So
Okay.
yeah, there's more to add to that too, because couples, most of the time they're showing like secondary emotions, which secondary emotions are considered like anger and just like being mean and stuff. So like that will be like the secondary emotion, but we try to get to the primary emotion of what people are feeling under that, like attacking behavior or like being aggressive or mean. So like the primary emotions can be like feeling inadequate or feeling just not good enough, not worthy, or just rejected, like that's what's underneath a lot of problems that couples have. Like one person is just feeling like they can't do anything right and they're being blamed for everything. That's usually the one that like withdraws more, and then the one that pursues is like, I don't feel good enough, and like I feel like you're not reassuring me. Like it just like.
Well, thank you for that.
That was a really long response.
I just want to respond.
Yeah.
I want to respond to the audience member talking about girls a lie. He didn't get the memo. Because girls are players too.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, thank you. So, girl, so the audience members out of control today, Kailey. I don't understand it. So we are at Smoky Face Smoke Shop, 4250 Truth. To address everybody's question, relationships are hard, right?
Oh, yeah.
Communication goes a long way, as we sums it up.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
If you bring old past relationship into new relationship, it's gonna harm the new relationship.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think that everybody, like you said, is individual self-sabotage sometimes in relationships to where they mess it up for themselves because they think it's not going good, and the other person's not knowing anything on what your thought process is if you don't communicate.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
So I got that. I
Yes.
understood that part.
Yes. Yeah.
So other than that, I mean, is there anything that you would like the audience to know to like progress their relationships, or maybe relationship with family members or friends or anything? Because I mean, not only just woman and man relationship, but I mean, relationship goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be all kind of different dynamics of how to repair, how to fix, but the key word is everybody has to be open-minded
Yeah.
and willing to take everybody's suggestion, observation, and opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really think like one of the top things to like have a healthy relationship with somebody is having like a deep love for yourself. Like I
Number
think
one, what I tell y'all.
I think this is like an underrated thing.
Loving yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
and
is.
I don't think it's talked about enough.
I
So
know.
I'm here to do so.
All right.
You
Well,
know?
tell them about it. That's what we need to hear.
Right,
Love
right.
yourself first before you love more in that relationship.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
And then you'll know how to love
Mhm.
that person you're with.
It's easier to give love to
Okay.
somebody else when you can give it to yourself.
So,
That's
okay.
just the bottom line of it all. And I think you can have a good relationship without like full self-love. Like there's no like capacity that you need to be at to have a good relationship. But I do think it's important to like feed yourself, like pour love into you. Like do things that work for you and love on yourself, because I mean, a lot of people get into adulthood and they have a lot of insecurities and, you know, like things that they picked up from adolescence, childhood, words of other people that aren't even their own, that they chose to believe at some point. The audience.
So here's another thing. So with mental health or mental issues, or I don't know if the word is, am I saying it right?
Yeah, mental health, yeah.
Okay. So would you think everybody in the audience got a mental something going on with them?
I wouldn't say that.
You
no.
wouldn't? So how would you know if people do or don't have mental issues?
So as therapists, we are certified to diagnose.
Okay.
So we do know how to diagnose mental illness. We know how to identify criteria that fits certain diagnoses. So we'll usually meet with people and we'll run assessments for them, like that we're meeting with. So we'll do these assessments. We'll go through the DSM-5, which is the mental health diagnostic manual. So we'll go through there. We'll see if they meet enough of the criteria, and we can diagnose at that point. And sometimes we even work with physicians to see if there's like a medication that would like help them on their journey, because I'm not gonna dog medication, because I think it actually really does help a lot of people, especially on their therapy journey. And so we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. So mental health has to be diagnosed.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like there's something going on with you, you know, like if there's something off, or you feel like I'm not behaving the way that I want to, I'm not showing up in my life the way that I want to, you can be like, there's something wrong, and maybe go see a professional and see like what's going on there. I wouldn't suggest anybody to like self-diagnose, because I don't think that's too healthy.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, but I do think that a lot of people today do suffer a lot with anxiety and depression. Those are the top two diagnoses we see. Yeah, definitely.
Well, Kailey, you know what? Anybody else have any other questions for this beautiful young lady who took time out to sit up here with Lady Leo? Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So, anyone else in my audience who think they want to speak before I say my last little thoughts on relationships? Oh, look at it. I knew he couldn't resist. That's why I did that. Okay.
I just got a quick question, because I never understood it, because, you know what I'm saying, like, we was coming up and we never, it wasn't, mental health wasn't out there like that, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, like anxiety, like now everybody got anxiety and stuff, so, like, you know, what is anxiety? Like, I don't understand, like, what is it? Because I think it's just a natural thing of, like, nervousness of what I just hear, so, like, what is anxiety?
Yeah, I do. That's a great question, first of all, because I think the word anxiety gets thrown around a lot, like, it does, and people kind of like put that diagnosis on themselves, like, oh, I just have anxiety, like I have anxiety, but people don't really know if they do or not until you go see a professional and you get diagnosed with it. And I think there are different levels to it too, because there are like certain situations in life that can just make you anxious and feel like you're worried, you know, more than usual. But I mean, generalized anxiety disorder, that's like the full title of it, and you have to meet certain criteria to like fit that diagnosis. And I don't know all the criteria off the top of my head, I'm training. But
that's all right.
Yeah, but honestly, it really is just like excessive worry about things that are not
important. That you can't.
Yeah, that aren't. Yeah, they probably won't happen. I can't think of the word for it, but it's like excessive worry about things that just probably won't happen.
You have no control over everything.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So basically, it's just that you just nervous.
It's like you
weren't listening.
It's deeper than it is deeper than nervousness.
It's
It's kind
that.
of like creating scenarios in your head of like the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah,
but we
no.
got like a few minutes. So we are at Smoky Face Smoke Shop. If you have any questions, anything, we'll be right back. We're gonna take a quick intermission, and this is who?
Kailey.
Kailey, yes. And I'm Lady Leo. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll check with you in a little bit.
Run that up, Rico.
City boy. Shit.